Hey, remember when we were kids, back when our television was not the flat screen TVs that we know today, but instead a heavy bulky box? This was during the time that everyone used DVDs and no longer used VHS tapes, aka also when cable television ran the world. Kids will be watching Nickelodeon, Disney, all these different cartoon channels. But what happened when you didn't have cable? When you didn't pay for any cable, so you only got the basic things on television? What was even there? Then that means that you had to watch Cubo TV. Cubo TV was a free television network, so as long as you had a TV, then you had Cubo. There were some normal cartoons on there that everybody else watched. Do you remember Curious George or Magical School Bus? Those were one of the few more common cartoons people watched. But what about the other shows on Cubo TV? Those that most people don't know about, because they were probably watching SpongeBob or Ben 10. This video is going to be about my childhood and the childhood cartoons that I obsessed over. Either that or forced to watch because there was nothing else on TV. The strange childhood of kids whose parents did not want to pay for cable network consisted of many cartoons such as 321 Penguins, Jane and the Dragon, Marvin, the Tap Dancing Horse, and so much more. Imagine having parents who would actually pay for a cable network. Pteh. I actually think you guys were missing out. Either ways, the first cartoon I want to talk about is 321 Penguins. While you may never have heard what 321 Penguins is or what it is about, you probably have heard of its cousin, VeggieTales. VeggieTales was a cultural phenomenon. It was the cultural phenomenon of kids' cartoon back then, kind of like how Bluey is the cultural phenomenon now. Many people may not know, but VeggieTales was actually a Christian cartoon. It originated as a Christian cartoon, but it was palatable by people even if they weren't Christian. Growing up, I was never Christian. However, for some reason, I managed to consume a lot of Christian content, whether it was through books, Bibles, or cartoons. The ones that I consumed, I remember mainly being 321 Penguins. It was created by the same person who made VeggieTales, and it was a flop cartoon. Despite the popularity of VeggieTales, 321 Penguins did not do as well, aka probably why it was on Cubo and not Paper Network, because I do not remember watching VeggieTales as a kid. 321 Penguins is about these two Christian siblings who ends up going on space adventures with this group of penguins. The crew of penguins consisted of the leader Zigil, the technician Mijil, the scientist penguin Vigil, but last but not least, and my favorite, Kevin. The storyline and plot mainly took place in going to a lot of different planets and solving missions and problems, and by the end of it, the kids learned some form of lesson. To be honest, this was one of my more favorite cartoons. I actually enjoyed 321 Penguins more so than some other shows. Jane the Dragon. But perhaps that's only because I was a kid. I feel like if I watched 321 Penguins again now as an adult, I would be so bored. And a lot of people who watched 321 Penguins I found on websites thought that was actually pretty boring. And I was just like, oh wow, I guess it was just me who liked this show. The second show I want to talk about is Jane and the Dragon. I remember always hating it whenever this show popped on, but I would be forced to watch it because there would be no other channels for me to tune in on. So I would sit there and watch this. And now growing up, I think I understood why I didn't like it. I think as a kid, I was very picky with graphics, and this show's a little bit fugly. Okay, but it may be fugly, but the fucking theme song is a fucking bop. Listen to it.
There once was a lady in waiting, let's call her Jane. That girl wasn't ordinary.
No way for me, a lady stuck in waiting. I'd rather battle fire-breathing dragons. I knew I could prove that a girl could be a knight, till my friends all laughed at me. But I wouldn't be discouraged and trained in secret. Then a dragon prince, the royal prince, and everyone was freaking. So I went alone to the dragon's home to slay the dragon. Hey now, Jane and the dragon are best friends now. The dragon's sweet, he let me see the young prince. Then the king made me a knight apprentice. Hey now. With dragon's help, I'll be a knight someday.
Yeah, that's right. Can't deny that that theme song was a bop. The content of Jane and the Dragon kind of feels like a sequel. The knight was supposed to slay the dragon, but instead became the dragon's friend. And the main storyline of Jane and the Dragon, there is no storyline. It's just about the after story of how Jane and the dragon are now friends. I know I said I hated this show as a kid, but as an adult, I have nostalgia for this show now. Especially for so many of the characters in the show, like Jane herself, the dragon, the jester, the bullies, the king and the queen. It was a very charming show. It had a charm that you wouldn't get unless you watched it as a kid, and for that reason, it holds a special place in my heart. Vroom, 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 vroom. The next show I want to talk about is called Zula Patrol. Okay, so this show is actually one of my favorites. And once again, as an old show back in 2006, 2009 or something like that, it's ugly as well. Can't even deny it's ugly, but it was ugly to a tolerable level. It was the science show of the century. Taught you about space, taught you about red stars. Every space fact I know right now, I swear to God, is because I watched the show as a kid. This show has made me such a nerd. I remember going to a observatory once, the little space thingies, right? And then they're talking about red stars, white stars, and I felt like a little nerd because I would like always be raising my hands and interjecting, being like, oh my god, I know what that is. I know what a red star is and a dwarf star is. It's because I watched Zula Patrol. Yeah, I was a little shithead know-it-all during that school trip. But these group of weird-looking aliens would also travel around space like in 321 Penguins, doing little missions that they've received from people, or in this case, a lot of the times, planets. The planets all had faces. It's a little bit unnerving. But there were several fun episodes, and Zula Patrol was like the cyber chase. Except not math, but for space. That's pretty poggers. So that was the end of the video, and yeah, sorry for disappearing for many months, even though I said I was not going to. But the reason why I disappeared was because I went on a trip to see my family in China, and then I guess I came back. I didn't really get the motivation to continue doing videos, but I'm back. This is actually an older video that I did not want to post at all. I thought it was kind of cringe, but I got convinced to finish it up and post it. So this is current me recording right now, and this video is past me. So if you felt cringe watching this video, I'm so sorry. By the way, since I'm trying to restart my video grind, if you guys are interested in joining my Discord server, 18 plus only please, feel free to come and lounge around. I'd really appreciate it. So feel free to join the server over there. Thank you.